Welcome to Football with Cheese. So I haven't made a video in a week. Just been kind of waiting to see if anything happened. Topics around the NFL. I didn't want to make a 2-minute video about one little thing. Luckily enough has happened. I actually was going to make a video yesterday. Glad I waited. Make sure you subscribe, by the way, and hit the bell so you don't miss one of my videos. Because why would you want to? Yeah. So, August 1st. Which means it's Romeo Doubs month. If you don't know who Romeo Doubs is, he's a wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. And I call him Mr. August because he always has the best camp and preseason. And he looks like he's going to break out and be a star receiver. And then the regular season comes. And, plays like a number 3 or 4 receiver the rest of the year. Except in the playoffs against the Cowboys in the 2023 season. What a game. So I guess he's Mr. August, and in the playoffs against the Cowboys, he's amazing. Anyway, we need to talk about Terry McLaurin yet again. I don't understand what Washington is doing. So Terry McLaurin, I've made a video about this, probably 2 videos, talking about him. He is their best offensive playmaker, their best weapon, minus quarterback Jaden Daniels. Apparently, they refused to pay him $30 million a year. The top receiver in the league makes over $40. The top number 2 receiver in the league makes over $29. That's T. Higgins of the Bengals. And McLaurin is a team captain. He's a great locker room guy. He has had an amazing career. He is 29. He'll be 30 next month. But he has had 1,000 yards in every season but his rookie year, where he had 919, I believe. He had 13 touchdowns last year. They are not even close to the NFC title game without him. There are certain players you let walk in free agency. I get it. And you can't pay everybody with the salary cap. But Washington has a quarterback on a rookie contract. They have a ton of cap room. There's $60-some million under the cap at a minimum for next season. There is no excuse not to pay one of your best players, one of your most popular players, your team captain, your number 1 receiver, top 15 receiver in the NFL. I don't know if he's top 10. He might be, but he's top 15. There's no reason not to give him $30 million a year. You have to keep him. Without him, you are not winning the Super Bowl. I know you made the NFC title game next year. You look better on paper. But it's hard to win the postseason. You're definitely not doing it without Terry McLaurin. Let me explain a little bit more. I'm going to use my Green Bay Packers as an example. When I originally saw the Packers draft, day 1 and 2, I was a little disappointed. But I get it now. So, we mentioned Romeo Doubs earlier in this video, Mr. August. He is a free agent end of the year. Christian Watson, another wide receiver who's coming off an ACL tear, is a free agent end of the year. Green Bay decided before the draft, we don't want to pay these guys. Number 3 receivers like Romeo Doubs are getting paid $13-14 million a year. Christian Watson's probably going to get paid $18 to $25 million a year. I know that sounds crazy with his injury history, but size, speed, combination, defenses have to know where he is. When you have 4.4 speed and you're 6'4", defenses have to know where you are. And I think Green Bay decided because of the injury history, because of the inconsistencies of Doubs, we're not going to re-sign them after the season. So in the draft, they used their first-round pick on Matthew Golden, wide receiver Texas, and in the 3rd round, they drafted Savion Williams, wide receiver TCU. So Green Bay's plan, they had a strategy. I understand now why they did what they did. They had a plan. Okay, let's bring these receivers in this year so we're not desperate for a receiver in 2026. Let's have the replacements in place for the 2026 season and go ahead and draft them. And they have Golden and Savion Williams in place to go along with Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks. But Washington does not have a receiver to replace Terry McLaurin as the number 1 guy or even close to it. Deebo Samuel, who they traded for, is not the player he used to be. He showed up overweight to camp. They don't have another receiver. And I like their draft. Josh Connolly, Trey Amos. They filled immediate needs. So that was a good move. Both those picks were very good picks. But you don't have someone in place to replace Terry McLaurin, and that gives him leverage. And you can't trade him. If you trade him, your receiving core is probably the worst in the NFL without him. So yes, receivers get paid so much now, especially for a position that might touch the ball 10, 12 times a game at most, even the really good players. But it's Terry McLaurin, and you don't have an option behind him. Green Bay does. Green Bay used draft picks to have options behind Dobbs and Watson if they leave in free agency. Washington doesn't have that. Just pay him. Pay him $30 million a year. Give him a 4-year contract. So what if he's 33, 34, and he's not quite the player he used to be? By then, you'll maybe have drafted his replacement. That's what they should do. Just pay him, get him in camp. Jane Daniels can't be happy. This is a mess that should never happen. Just like the Cowboys. We'll talk about them in a second. It's not like McLaurin's asking for 33, 34 million a year. I understand not paying him 33, 34 million. I understand that. But he's not asking for that if you believe the reports. So this is crazy. And if Terry McLaurin was a free agent, he would get more than 30 million a year. He absolutely would. And you're not going to get a ton if you trade for him. If they decide to do that, they're not going to do that. You can't. Because the team, it's like the T. Higgins situation. I mentioned him. He makes over $29 million a year. I'm sure teams wanted to trade for T. Higgins, but you have to pay him too. So they're not going to give you probably more than a second or third rounder because we also have to pay him. So I'm getting grumpy, getting frustrated. I just don't understand. Washington fans, I can't imagine what you're going through. I'm frustrated now. I'm frustrated as a podcaster. But at least I got something to talk about. I was trying to find content for my videos. So I believe in honoring your contract. I think he should report regardless and play, but I get why he doesn't. We talked about that on the Sports Truth podcast earlier in the week. If you did not know, I am a co-host of that podcast. I will link in the description every Tuesday night, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific. Yeah, I went through all just in case some of you have trouble with the time zones. Also, Micah Parsons, who is in a similar situation to Terry McLaurin. He's much younger. He's only 26. He's finishing out his rookie contract. He might now request a trade. He's considering drastic measures. Wow. When we talked about Myles Garrett before he signed his extension with the Browns, he requested a trade, but the Browns just threw money at him. What we talked about was you cannot get value for a player like Myles Garrett. Even if someone offers you 3 first-round picks, say Washington wanted him, was the example. Washington's going to be good if Terry McLaurin plays, but Washington's going to be good for the next 4 or 5 years. Jaden Daniels on a rookie contract. They have a good team. So if you got 3 first-round picks, say, from Washington for Myles Garrett, they're going to be picks in the 20s or even early 30s. And you're not going to get the value on those 3 picks. Very unlikely compared to what you get out of Myles Garrett, who's, in my opinion, the best pass rusher in the game. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's just an incredible player. Micah Parsons is not the best pass rusher in the game, but he's top 5, maybe top 3. He's that good. And the Cowboys just need to pay him. Match the Myles Garrett contract. Without him, the Cowboys are not a good defense. He's the most important player in the defense. We saw what happened when T.J. Watt hurt his foot and wasn't as effective. The Steeler defense collapsed. Something very similar to what happened to the Cowboys. And I guess Jerry's worried about ankle injury. He missed 6 games last year, something like that. But that happens. People get hurt. T.J. Watt hurt his ankle last year, like we just said. What are the Cowboys doing? It seemed to me like a month ago they were close on a contract, and then Jerry Jones ran his mouth, and it's just getting worse. It's crazy. And let me give you some examples of teams trading elite players for draft picks and not getting nearly the players in return. I'll start with an old school example, if you're old enough to remember this. If you don't know who Randy Moss is, he was a very, very talented receiver, Hall of Famer. The Vikings and him headed for a breakup. And they traded him for a first-round pick. It was a top 10 pick, I believe. I think it was maybe 9th, 10th overall, something like that. And they got Troy Williamson, wide receiver, South Carolina. Total bust. That's all they got for Randy Moss. Total bust. So basically they got nothing. More recent examples. The Titans didn't want to pay A.J. Brown. We talked about receivers getting paid a lot. They didn't want to pay him like $25 million a year. Here's what the Titans got out of it. They got 4 players. They got a bunch of draft picks, 4 players. Treylon Burks, wide receiver. They just released him. First-round pick. He had a lot of injury issues, but he was a very good player at Arkansas. His film was incredible. Didn't have the best workout, but a lot of people liked that pick at the time. Roger McCreary, cornerback. He's been a solid player, but nothing great. Wide receiver Kyle Phillips. He was a 5th-round pick at UCLA. Phillips was projected to be maybe a sleeper in the draft. A lot of draft analysts loved that pick. It just didn't work out. And Nicholas Petit-Frere had a suspension, had injury issues, offensive tackle, Ohio State. When he did play, he was awful. So that trade is so lopsided. A.J. Brown's one of the best receivers in the NFL. He might not have the stats like Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase because he's on the Eagles that runs the ball so much, but A.J. Brown to me is a top 5 receiver in the NFL. Someone keeps texting me. My phone keeps buzzing. I'm recording a video. I'm almost done. So when you have elite players, you just cannot get the value for them. Even if you hit on those draft picks, you're more than likely getting good players, not great. One more thing I want to mention. The Hall of Fame game was last night. Okay, preseason. The virtual measurement is interesting. No more chain gang. You know, they bring out the chains to measure. So it's now done virtually. It's going to be more accurate. I like it. It's just real interesting. The video is all over the internet. You can Google it if you want to see it. But the preseason in general just doesn't mean what it used to be. When I was a kid, there were 4 preseason games. Now there's 3. But even so, the 3rd preseason game, or the second to last one, the starters would play the whole first half and sometimes into the 3rd quarter. So that was exciting to see the starters together. And even the last preseason game, the starters would play a series. I remember Brett Favre. I went to a preseason game, and he played the first series, and I was so excited. It was the last preseason game. In the second half of the game, I think there was maybe 1 or 2 guys that made the team playing. It's a bunch of guys that aren't going to be on the practice squad or just released. But it was still cool to see, and nowadays, most veterans don't even play in the preseason. So it's a bunch of undrafted guys. Even the high draft picks sometimes don't play because teams cannot afford injuries. So the preseason just isn't what it used to be. Murray in Hampton, I was looking forward to seeing him play for the Chargers. 2 carries. He was their first-round pick running back. Real interesting player. Love watching his college film. Just a freak athlete. He's a beast. 2 carries. Oh, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't know if you saw this report. They are experimenting with 0-4 personnel. Arthur Smith is their offensive coordinator. He loves tight ends. He loves 12 personnel. 0-4 personnel is 0 running backs, 4 tight ends. No receivers. So basically the numbers mean running backs and tight ends. So 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 receivers. 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends, 2 receivers. 0-4 personnel, 4 tight ends. It's great for the running game, at least on paper. Here's the problem with it. Yes, they have Jonnu Smith and Pat Freiermuth, but they don't have that Brock Bowers, that Rob Gronkowski, that Shannon Sharp to stretch the field. So the safeties can creep up and play the run. So I would love to see it, especially in the preseason. It'll be fun to watch. But I don't think it's sustainable in the regular season. What do you think down below? What do you think about any of this? Terry McLaurin, Micah Parsons. If you have not subscribed, make sure you do so now. Enable alerts so you never miss a video. Share this with anyone who loves football. We cover all 32 teams. We cover the NFL draft. Big focus. We cover college football. And once again, every Tuesday night, I'm on the Sports Truth podcast. I'll link it in the description. I also am now writing articles for PackersTalk.com. So if you are a Packer fan, check those out. I will link in the description my page. I'm doing at least one a week. I've got the next one almost already written. They're published on Monday. So I just need to fine-tune it this weekend. If you have not, please check these out. If you enjoyed this, please give a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. And I will see you in the next video.